All right. Are you there? Oh. Are you there? Do you have control? Let me see if I have control. Oh, no, I do. Okay. Okay. Look at Robert. Robert,
look at all these faces.
All right, I sent the thing.
This is awesome.
It's awesome.
Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Is that you? Is somebody?
Robert Estes, you can't have your camera on the ground.
That's a really odd view.
Just kidding, Robert. Look at Robert Estes. Robert, lift up your deal. Estes. Robert Estes.
Where is he?
Right there.
Right. That is too funny. That is so funny. Look at Richard Newsy. I'm telling you. I hope you've been talking to Amy Watson. She's been looking for you.
Yes, she's just hi.
And there's, yeah, she just nodded. Tarzan's got somebody in his house with him. That's exciting. Look at little Ruth Ellen Sanchez, my little buddy.
Hey there.
I don't know which Sandy that is. Leo, look at you. That's exciting. How are you, baby? Lanny, I don't know what you're eating, but you're beautiful. It's unbelievable. Oh, Shelly. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Ricardo. Deb Boris, good morning. This is just exciting. We'll give these people a couple. It isn't even 5:30 yet. Unbelievable. What a great day. Anybody else talk? What's going on, Marianne?
Nothing. We were testing to see if we could get this up on the big screen, and we couldn't do it.
That's all right. We're good.
Yeah. So anyway, but we got on, and there was people on here already.
No kidding. It's
yeah,
popular.
Like 30 minutes ago.
A lot of people getting on here. Just give them a couple more minutes. We'll start in like 2 minutes. How about Great. Scott Fardulis? Oh, there's James. Somebody text Scott Fardulis. Make sure he's coming.
I just did. Matter of fact, that's what I was doing. I text, make sure Bob had his link. He's all set.
Bob looks better than I've ever seen him look.
Bob feels good.
He looks good, yep.
I'm getting ready to run from the hurricane.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah, just in case if you see the water fly by.
Yeah, that's
Bob
right.
leaves the screen. Hey, Joanne Johnson.
Hello.
Hello. There's Scott. There's Young for Life and Blake. Woo. All right.
See what we can get out of this.
All right, as soon as you find out, text us and let us know.
Okay, Tom, you let me know when you want.
All right, let's get, okay, so Marianne, your job is to keep muting people that pop up that have their microphones on that might be making noise, like Dylan Suggs. And Scott, you look beautiful as you're driving. Scott, what are you doing? You told me you were going to be home on a computer. Scott.
I am right here. This is as good as a computer, isn't it? Come on.
Oh my God.
All right, okay, so everybody knows when they talk, they've got to unmute themselves and get ready to mute everybody. All right?
The second. And
hey, you were muted.
A lot less space or get more screen. And try to get as muted as and try to get yourself unmuted. And that way we don't have to listen to any kind of car noise or anything like that. But tonight's Zoom is going to be unbelievable. My page is just filling up. It's so great to see all of you, and so great to see all of you just really paying attention and looking how you're looking in the screen. Blake Chin's got his new green like money shirt on. He looks like $1 million. It's just so exciting to see you, Sharon. You're beautiful. Crystal Lee, it's great. I love this because it's showing me that you guys are really playing this thing at a major league level. Blake Corley, I love you. Noah Sigma, nice to see you, buddy. So here's what we want to do. We've got Denise and Amy down there in the corner. They're beautiful. That's my beautiful wife. We've got Mary Ann Niehaus. We've got Bob Crisp, and we've got Scott Fardulis. And what happened today was I was talking to Scott about, or that might have been yesterday. That was yesterday, about network marketing in the millennials and the Generation X and the baby boomers, and then the category Bob Crisp or I are in, which is called Almost Dead. And we decided that we need to merge those cultures a little bit and let all of you guys understand that everything is exactly the same. Robert Estes, you need to move your camera, man. That is so funny. It's beautiful. So anyway, what I want you doing is understanding that this network marketing is the same thing. It's high tech, and it's also high touch. And it's the same thing. It's one-on-one. It's three-way calls. It's home meeting. It's weekly meetings. It's monthly trainings, and it's driving to events. Bob Crisp has made $65 million in his network marketing career. And Scott Fardulis told me that his goal is to chase that number down. And that's exciting. So Marianne, unmute Scott so he can speak, and unmute Robert Crisp so he can speak. And let's get this show on the road. And let's just talk to you people about why. I mean, I think we want to lead out with Scott, because you've been in living rooms all over the country. And we were talking yesterday, people are all saying the same thing. How do we do this? How do we teach our teams to do this? And are we doing the right things? So would you mind doing that, Scott? Would you mind opening up for me here and just giving us a few words of wisdom?
I'd love to. Tom, this is an exciting little venue.
Can you guys hear him?
Everybody can hear me?
I couldn't hear you.
I'm getting a thumbs up. Can you hear me, Tom?
Yep, they can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. This is a great little venue. I love the fact that you and Bob and I put our heads together to create this group, and who knows what it's going to turn into. But what I do know right now is that everybody on this particular line, if that's what it is are people that are ecstatic. They are excited to build their futures and to build their businesses. And it all starts with really a decision. And in order to be successful in anything, let alone network marketing, it takes commitment, it takes belief, it takes desire, it takes an insatiable want that has to transcend anything called mediocre. And the fact that we've got high-level leaders and high-level mentors that are on this Zoom chat, and we get to pour into people, and we get to share the best of our experiences and the best of our wisdom and get up close and personal with people, I think that everybody's going to walk away with something that's very, very valuable. But at the end of all of our stories, Tom and Bob, is we made decisions years ago, and those decisions have obviously led to extraordinary outcomes. But the thing of it is it hasn't always been easy. There's been incredible obstacles to overcome. There's been stuff called life. I mean, I'm just being real and vulnerable right now. Today, for example, I'm dealing with leaders in my organization that are dealing with death, that are dealing with diagnoses and sickness and disease and different kinds of personal pain that people are going through. And it's a matter of staying next to people as they go through this journey, because it's happening to those people, but the reality is it can happen to any of us in the flip of a switch in any given moment. And what we've got to do is prove to people that we mean business, and we mean friendship, and we mean life, and that no matter what, we're going to be locked arms, and that when we do things together, we can get through anything, we can overcome anything, we can handle anything, including accomplishing our goals and our dreams and all of the biggest level aspirations that all of us have. And so it's definitely a lot of hard work, but we're all up for the task. That's what I know about all these people, is we're all up for the task. We're willing to do whatever it takes. And that's why we're on this particular segment tonight, is to find out what is that mindset and what does it take to set ourselves up for success. Does that help kind of kicking us off?
Yeah, that's exactly what we want to hear. So is there any difference? I mean, with the books that you've read, I mean, we've deferred this. You and I have had many conversations about Bob Crisp. And look at that little angel. Who is that? Tammy and Clay. I look at that little girl there waving. Look at that little pumpkin there. Every day in multi-level marketing is take your children to work day. And I love the fact that we're looking at that little, except she's got a booger right there. Okay, got it. All right. So sorry about that. So anyway, let's go over to Bob Crisp right now and say hi to somebody that is my mentor. You know, I talk about mentors and Bob Bodine and a few people. Bob Crisp is on that list. How are you, Bob?
I am tremendous. I'm looking forward to Hurricane Matthew hitting soon and us fighting back.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you, Bob, have been in this business a long time. And somebody, Peggy Highland from Australia, wants to know how to start conversations with people about the business of network marketing. Is that something you're prepared to answer? I mean, what I want to do, if you guys all look over to the right-hand side, there's a chat button. If you look at that chat button, we can answer in literally any question you've got. Have you got any ideas? I know Scott's got a tremendous conversation about starting business conversations. How about you, Bob? Have you got anything off the top of your head that would just light these people on fire?
Well, you know, that is certainly the beginning point of just about anything, Tommy. And Scott, that was a perfect setup for what I have in mind tonight. And that's a perfect question to begin with tonight, starting the conversation. You know, here's the thing that happens in my life. And that is that, you know, as you grow, you start out, you're trying to figure out how does this thing work from beginning to end? How do you start it? How do you progress it? At what stage of the game am I today? And what do I need to do today to move my organization and myself to the next stage? You know, so I've read my books. You've heard me say you put them in, you keep them in, and you move them along. The 3 points of leadership that every single leader has to address. And so you look at this, and the first night I saw the plan, all the circles and stuff, going back to 1975, I got out a big old roll of butcher paper and a calculator, and by the time I reached the wall, I had every man, woman, and child in the world in my network marketing business. And I called my sponsor about 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, man, this is going to work. There's no way we can screw this up. You know, all you got to do is stay at it, right? The numbers will work. Just keep, it's multiplication. It's starting the conversation. Regardless of where you start the conversation, there's a place that you can take it. Now, here's my word for the night. Argue. This is my word. Argue. Now, people think that Tom is a great arguer. I love Tom Chenault because he loves to argue almost as much as I do. You know, my mother used to say, you'd argue with a signboard. Whenever I argued everything. I argued food we ate for dinner. I argued my bedtime every night. You know, there was never a time to go to bed that was the right time for me. So she said, you just love to argue. Well, I got into a business called the life insurance business. And they said, here's what you're going to do, Bob. You're going to sell something that people don't have the money to buy and don't want. They don't have the money to buy it, and they don't want it. Now, what's your argument for them to have it? And I discovered after about 18 months of starving to death, I discovered that there was a way that you could use the right words and you could get the argument to be in your favor. The problem that we have many times in network marketing is we think that we have to sell the opportunity. But we don't have to sell the opportunity. What we have to do is get on the prospect's side. Argument doesn't mean I have to have a conflict. Argument can mean I'm going to argue for you, not with you. You want more money in your life? Me too. I'm on your side. You want more time to spend with your family? Me too. I'm on your side. This is a time machine. This is an argument. In the life insurance business, I had to sell something that people had to die to win. Here's the deal. You spend money, you die to win. Now, that wasn't. Say again?
Okay.
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 So again, I discovered a long time ago from one of my mentors that if I could just get on your side and convince you that I was arguing for you, not with you or against you, that I use words that were in our favor. How do I make a friend? Boy, I compliment somebody on what they've got. So you've got Cheerios in your basket. Your kids must eat a lot of Cheerios standing in the grocery store, right? Conversations that begin with, I like you. I like you. You know, I find that I like most people who like me, and I don't like most people who don't like me. And that's the way most people operate. It's my argument. My argument for me is that we're going to do something together that's going to be great. Exactly what Scott was saying. We're going to be shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm, and we're going to build something together. Now, let me add to this in our next conversation segment here, is that the first challenge we have is we've got to deal with people where they live, where they are. Let's get this down. You get married, just you and your wife, you and your husband, and then you decide to have a kid. Does that change your life? Absolutely. Anybody who's ever had a child knows that the first kid in your life changes everything. You're not going out to the bars and going dancing on Friday night if you've got a kid, right? Unless you can get your mom and dad to take care of them or a babysitter to come in. And you're probably not going to leave that sweet little bundle of joy that you've got with a total stranger on Friday night. So it changes your social life. It changes your church life. It changes your business life. And then you decide, well, we got one, let's have two. And you get a second one. And you think the first one was hard. And then you get the second one. Well, now you got two. Well, you know, you can't stop there. Might as well have another one. Now you got three. Next thing you know, you're 30 years old. You got three little rugrats running around, and your bills are through the roof, and your credit cards are charged up to the hilt. And that job that you loved 3 years ago when you saw network marketing, you now hate. And it doesn't pay the bills. And you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You're sick and tired of your weekends being spent doing the things that you don't want to do instead of the things that you do want to do. So your life has changed dramatically. You have to realize every single person becomes a prospect for network marketing at some point in time. Guy's happy on Monday, gets fired on Tuesday. He's a prospect on Wednesday, right? But it changes all the time, and the demographic changes all the time. In 19 when I was real young, I got involved in the life insurance industry. They said show up 8 a.m. on Monday morning for training. I did. 8 o'clock. It's a straight commission job. No salary, no expenses, straight commission. But they told me, you be at training 8 a.m. on Monday morning. I showed up. Here's the first thing they said. Go in this room. We're going to teach you a sales track. Here's what the sales track said. Mr. Jones, you'll earn a fortune. Between the age of 21 and 65, you're going to earn over $1 million if you're a typical person. But only 3% of the people who do that become financially independent. 97% are dead or dead broke. They call that study the fate of 54. They said this is the way we start. This is what actually happens in people's lives. In the last 50 years, nothing's changed. It's basically the same today. 3% of the people that start out today at age 21 are going to be financially free at age 65, or they're going to be dead or dead broke. So you're starting out with the power of the facts. The facts are on your side. Here again, that's the first argument. The fact is that if you're the typical American family, you're in debt up to your keisters, you know, you hate your job. 93% of people in the United States of America hate their job. They're frustrated with their life. They have no goals that they can accomplish. All the arguments are really on your side. So here's my question, Tommy. Why? Why are so many people so frustrated in network marketing because they can't have the success or aren't having the success that they should have? What is your answer to that question? Gotta unmute you. Tom, you're muted.
That's fortunate. Okay, so the whole thing is, for me, if you got a great company and you believe in your company and you believe in the comp plan, you believe in the products, the only thing that you could possibly train and develop and change is your belief in yourself. And the only way that you change that belief in yourself is the training involved with getting yourself to the point that you are a professional network marketer and you're not afraid to step out in front of literally any person and be a stand for their success. So I think that's the answer to what you just said. And it's an inside job, Bob. I don't think anything on an exterior side is going to change anything. I look at my little buddy Chaizda. I love that woman. Look at that smile right there. And I just know that she can do this. But it's not me believing she can do it. Is Doc on here? Did somebody say, do we have Doc? We might have Doc Wallach somewhere. Does anybody see Dr. Wallach? I'm getting notes that we got Dr. Wallach somewhere. Do we have him on camera somehow? Not yet. All right, we're trying to get Dr. Wallach. He's doing a seminar, and somebody just is trying to hello, Amy Peraza. Nice to see you, you little flower. We might have Dr. Wallach pretty quick. So if we do, that'll be pretty cool. And we'll pop him on camera and we'll have him say hi. But until we know he's in Texas, Trish. It's a beautiful thing. So anyway, that's it. Inside job. That's what this boils down to. And, you've got to be unstoppable. And when you walk in a room, and developing that confidence in yourself, like you have the same confidence in longevity and the comp plan and the products in some comedian's project in Denver or whatever it might be that has you just get, you got to have that belief level in you, like you have belief levels in everything you're passionate about. That's what I think, Bob. Am I wrong?
No, you're totally right. You're totally right. And when you add into the concept, here's my argument for the argument. And that is, the attorneys are taught in law school, never ask a question of a witness that you don't know the answer to.
Well, why'd you just ask me that question? Because I sure as hell didn't know the answer.
No, you did know the answer.
Okay, good.
Your answer was absolutely perfect, Tommy. Here's the challenge. Here's my thing tonight. Here's my rant tonight. I wanted, the first thing I wanted to do with the people that I put into the business was vaccinate them against negative. Very first thing. Vaccinate them against negative and treat the life problem that I know that they have. Now, here's what we don't do enough of, as I see it. We don't do enough of getting people ready to build the business. We don't, when they first sign up in the business, they don't realize that it's going to take this and it's going to take that and it's going to take time and it's going to take weekends and it's going to take birthdays and it's going to take holidays. And, I hated holidays. When I first got into business, I hated them. I hated Monday Night Football. I hate Monday Night Football because Monday nights got all screwed up with people who are going to stay home and watch Monday Night Football. And I thought to myself, what could be so darn important about a football game where that you have to stay home and you can't go out and have a meeting tonight because of Monday Night Football? Now, here's the thing. We've got to remove the stumbling blocks. Are you with me now, everybody?
Yeah.
We've got to remove the stumbling blocks before we can get to the solutions. The solutions, whether it's a product solution, a sickness, or a financial solution, because I think financial solutions are the most powerful solutions. We can't get there until we remove the stumbling blocks which are naturally in everybody's life. Here's what we do. We go to church, we sit there. We've got a couple that live down the street from us, and they go to our church. They sit in the same pew we do. We sit there and look at them and think that they have the perfect marriage. They drive the perfect car. They live in the perfect house, and they're just doing so well. And we say to them, so how are you doing? And they say to us what? Everybody say it. What do they say? Everybody can just mouth it. They say, I'm doing fine, or I'm doing great. When in fact, they're not doing great, because they don't look at you and go, well, we're 2 months behind on our car payment, and the hot water heater went out. We don't have the money to replace it. My wife and I haven't had sex in 20 years, and so on and so forth. They don't do that because they put on the show. They put on the show. Now, here's what we are not dealing with. You can't build an organization with people who are ill-prepared to sacrifice the things they need to sacrifice because they think missing, blue bloods on Friday night is a big deal. It's a big deal. Oh, I miss blue bloods. Or I missed a soccer game for my little girl. But you know what? If you can't send your kids to college, they don't care that you went to the third grade play. If you can't, you got to make adult decisions. And the hardest thing for us to get our teams to do is to prepare themselves to be successful. You can have the greatest company in the world, but if you're not prepared to set your goals and commit time to them, you're not going to be a success. So why would I move from teaching somebody who doesn't have any goals, doesn't have a time commitment to the business, that's a genuine time commitment? Why would I move to, let me tell you how you can cure this or how you can do that or how you can do something else whenever they haven't done the first step? The first step is make some goals, commit yourself to those. Why do they not do that? And you have to have the answer to that question. I know you do, Tom, and I think that Scott does. I know you guys do a great job of teaching. Here's the thing we're not doing, I believe. Enough. Take the excuses away.
Good call.
Hey guys, here's a couple of thoughts for you. I look at what we do as a recognition that there are three classes of people that are in the workforce today. One is the millennials, that's the young generation. Then you got the Generation Xers, that's the mid-age people, and then you've got the elderlies, which are the baby boomers today. And we are bridging together all three of those groups of people. That's our job, is not to make them look separated, not to have them be different or feeling like they're not able to interact, or that the olders don't respect the youngers, or the youngers think that the Generation Xers are stepping all over them. We've got to bridge this together. And I think that's what we do so beautifully at Youngevity, is we have found a way to do that. And no matter what class of person you were in, demographically, we have got to teach people to make money. Make money is to be in relationship with other people. Can you guys hear me okay?
We did. Yeah, you went out for a second, but you're back now. Okay.
So I hope that I didn't get lost there or miss anything. So we bring together, but people they need to make money. No matter where you're at in life, you have to make money. And we want to be in relationship with other people. We're social creatures. So when we figure out how to pull that, we've got it all made. We're meeting everybody exactly where they're at, and we've got to put systems into place. I think a lot of us run around during the day and we don't know how to use our time wisely. So here's a thought for people. There are three things primarily that we should be doing every day with our time. And if we're not using our time wisely in this degree, then we are missing the boat. Here's what it is. Especially in the beginning, for newer people, we have got to teach people to set appointments every day. We've got to fill our calendar so that we end up having a job. If you don't have a job out there, you have to have a job in here. And so to create the job in here, the equivalent of full-time work where we're making money, you got to set those appointments. So now watch what happens. We set the appointments. We show people our strategy for life. That's what we're doing. We're showing them a strategy for life. And that's, the overview that we demonstrate to people. Now you've got a strategy for life. People say, okay, I can buy that strategy for life. It's better than the strategy for life I have now. So I'll hitch my wagon to your pony. And so they do that. The next thing we do is we've got 24 hours. And this is a critical piece. We've got 24 hours from somebody saying, I'll hitch my wagon to your pony, to get them to believe that you're going to lead. And everybody's looking for leadership. So now we take them through a simple system. And I'm just going to tell you what a great simple system is. Number one is like Bob Crisp said, if you can get people to dream again, to imagine again, to get deep with you about what they want out of life, bingo, that's the magic bullet right there. Secondly, is you engage them into your business. And so whether that's a simple order, a testing a product, getting a CEO pack, just get them engaged into the business and some skin in the game. Then number three, you've got to get people making a list and Then number 4, you've got to get people understanding how to communicate to that list. Before they call the list, they got to know how to communicate to the list. And number 5, you've got to get people engaged. And if you do that every single time with every single person and you duplicate that, now the person that said yes to you, guess what? Your calendar just got really full, and this is how you create a full-time job inside of network marketing. Now we're digging down into people that have people coming, and we're talking to their people, and we're following up with the people that we just showed the plan to, our people's people. And the third thing that we do every day is we are connecting with our leaders, the people that are out there going through those simple system steps day after day, and we're asking them this question: how can I serve you? How can I help you? How can I support you? What do you need from me to get you rank advanced or further progressing yourself into this business? If we're doing those 3 things every day with people, then we've given ourselves a full-time job. We're busy, we're making money, we're rank advancing, and our people are getting results.
Okay, so Scott, what I want you to, okay, good. So give me that list one more time so Marianne can put it up on the sidebar. So just give me that 1 through 5 one more time, because these people are looking for systems and they don't write as fast as you talk. But I don't, wait a second, before we go there, what happens if I don't believe you? What happens if I think you're just riding on the shoulders of Joanne Johnston and her cute little husband? Instead of you, Bill, are you just a one-legged wonder? Or how many SEMD and above legs did you have? And I know I'm putting you on the spot, and I know it could be kind of embarrassing here if the answer is not what I think it is. Let me ask you this. How many SEMD legs did you have going into October of 2016, 4 days ago?
We have 15 SEMD legs.
15 SEMD legs. Like, that's like more than both of my hands. That's
true. It is more than both of your hands.
15 people. Come on. So what you want to do is not what he's talking about. You want to do what he's doing. Were you a senior vice chairman last month?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you talk to your upline mentor last month?
Yes, sir.
Do you love him?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's have those 5 again.
Okay, and they're easy to forget because sometimes we like to talk in sentences, but here's the simple acronym that I can share with you to remember the 5 things. It's called iClip. ICLIP. Like iPhone, only iClip. So I is for imagination. C is for CEO pack. Now that doesn't mean that everybody has to get a CEO pack, but it tells you where you want to start. So start with people on the idea that they want complete transformation in their life. The best way to get on the fast track to that is with a CEO pack. And if that's not possible for whatever the reason is, or that's not part of the goal, then you can back down from the CEO pack, but you start there. So C stands for CEO pack. L stands for list. And you teach people how to make a list. And the concept here is don't go for bottom feeders, like people that have nothing better to do with their life. Get people that are successful in life. And then I stands for invite. And teach people the correct way to invite. And that's probably a different call, but that's what the word stands for, is invite. You teach people to invite, and you do not, under any circumstance, allow your people that are brand new to just start randomly calling their people and saying whatever they want to, or you're going to have them burn through 20 people with a not very good outcome. So teach them the invite. And then P stands for plug in. And here's the motto I live by. So here's how I teach people to plug in. Open your calendar and show them what a successful week in their business looks like. What can they do that's a money-making activity? If it's not a money-making activity, then that's not a good thing to put in somebody's calendar. So only put in their money-making activities. Keep it simple, but very productive. And here's the motto. I have everybody write this down. So you do it right. Everybody on this call, write this down. Here's your motto. Build your life around longevity instead of building longevity around your life. And if you'll just do that, then longevity will treat you preferentially because you treated it preferentially. And that's the theme of that motto. Does that help, Tom?
That helps a ton. And I'm telling everybody, adapt what he's doing, because if you want what he's got, do what he does. What Bob Crisp trained me to do was emulate what great leaders were doing over and over and over again. Don't reinvent the wheel, and understand how great you are. Don't try to be Denise Chenault and Amy. In fact, why don't you guys unmute yourself, Amy and Denise? Here, you can't do that. Just reach up, reach out, grab your greatness, take this project to people, find out what they want to buy, and find out what they don't want to buy. And when they tell you what they want to buy, whether it was time, money, or health, or whatever it is on the longevity platform, sell that to them. If you come back to them after interviewing them and have a conversation about them, about what it was they told you was popping their eyes open at 2 o'clock in the morning, everything shifts. And they think it's a personalized conversation just for them versus going out there and just being the machine gun multi-level marketer that everybody hates. All right, Bob?
That's definitely it. I firmly believe that the things that Scott has just outlined are things that are must-dos in the business. And here again, if I may add just one thing to it, and that is the ABC. There is no formula that is a cookie cutter. This is how you bake a cake deal, because every single person that we meet, life circumstance, and as we build our shoulder-to-shoulder relationships, as Scott said, as we build that shoulder-to-shoulder relationship, it's meeting people where they are and convincing them. This is the thing that I think Tom Chenault does just about better than anybody I've ever met, and that is convincing me that he is just like you, not that you're just like him. See, I want you to understand, I came from where you came from. I tried to sell life insurance and failed miserably. I've done that. I've had to put my bills back in the drawer because there was no money to pay the bills. I've been there. I've had my wife lock herself in the bathroom because she didn't want to talk to me because I took the rent money and bought tapes. Now, what I'm not hearing is where does reading? One of the first things we did for the last 40 years is hand somebody a book. Read the first chapter of The Magic of Thinking Big, because we've got to determine pretty early in the game, I think you'll all agree with me, pretty early in the game, what is the mindset of the person I just sponsored? You can't assume and shouldn't assume that this person is a positive thinker, a goal setter, a doer, that this person is not deep in debt and has problems beyond your ability to recognize them. Matter of fact, it's better to assume that they do have rather than that they don't have. I didn't realize when I got into network marketing that I was going to be a pastor, that I was going to be a psychologist, that I was going to be a sales trainer, that I was going to be a best friend. All these things are you're going to be. And anybody who's been around the industry as long as many of us have, understand you're going to wear many hats in this game. The key is understanding which hat do I need with this person today. That's one of the things that Tom Chenault has mastered. This is the hat I'm wearing right now with you, Bob. This is the hat I wear when I'm talking to this person or that person, and understands the difference. You're going to be a person reader. That's the great thing about it. How do you read this person? What does this person need today? Do they need a pat on the back or a good kick in the butt?
That's exactly right. And sometimes it's both. But you have to do it kindly. And the key to this whole thing is making sure that you understand that their job, and I see Lorene Williamson on here, which just warms my cockles, with Dr. Joanne Conaway. That is so exciting. And there's D Blackburn and she's a babe. There's Dax. But yeah, I think that it's important that we lead with our best talent, which is our heart. And talking about that, Denise, I don't ever want, hi Joe Farina, I don't ever want you guys to think that I'm ignoring my beautiful wife, because she is training me. Hello, Denise, how are you?
Am I training you well, or?
You're doing a pretty good job.
You know what? Everything that Scott and Bob and you have been saying is so right on. And you know, like Bob said, I think that one of the things is that so often we're out there looking for the secret. Like there's a secret out there that somebody has to do this business and be successful, and we've got to learn the secret. And the bottom line is there's no secret. It's on-the-job training. It's personal development. It's like Bob said, it's opening up the books. It's reading the books. It's listening to the tapes. And, you know, and it's on-the-job training, because you can go to every conference, convention, training. But unless you're actually out there doing it, it means nothing, because it's really all about on-the-job training. You are going to learn the most from the no's. That's it. And so, you know, you really don't learn the most from the yeses. You learn the most from the no's. And there's no secret. It's just, you just got to get out there. You got to just do it. You got to figure out what works. You got to figure out what doesn't work. And it takes some time. And there's no magic secret. I guarantee you. If there was a secret out there, somebody would know it, and it would have gotten spilled by now.
No doubt. So the name of the game is don't try, you know, anything you add adds confusion. And if you just take a look at the people on here, you know, the Teresa Pulleys or the Frankie Pulleys of the world, or the Lanny Sharps. I'm just looking at the vice chairman out there and the senior vice chairman on this call. And I look at the experience that they've got. One thing that we all learn sooner or later is that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. And if we just stay in the lane, everybody calls me all the time and says, Tom, why don't you have your own system? Why don't you have your own website? Why don't you have this? Why don't you have that? Because my job isn't to have that. My job is to stay in the lane with Bob Crisp. My job is to stay in the lane with Amy Peraza and Louis Ariaza. And my job is to stay in the lane with Keith Halls. And if I'm trying to dictate versus all of us being cumulatively doing the same thing, it doesn't work. And but
the other thing though too is what Scott just outlined is exactly what Bob outlines. Is exactly what we outlined. We are all saying the same thing.
Yes.
It's the dream. It's the CO pack. It's the list. It's the invite. It's the plugin. It's all of that. We really all are saying the same thing.
Did you see the little button on the thing where it says raise your hand on the little scroller bar? So instead of interrupting somebody, you can look at the little thing where it says raise your hand. So that way you don't get interrupted. You just raise your hand. And I call it.
I've never seen that ever in my life.
That's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. So
let me ask this question, Tommy. If I can, I'll hold my hand up.
Go ahead. Talk to me, Bobby.
Let me ask you this question. What role does an event play in the early stages of a distributor's business life?
Going to it or getting ready for it?
I mean, I found that the earliest in the game I could get a person to go to an event, not whether they bought a CEO pack or how much, you know, they spent on this or that or the other, but if I could get them to invest in going to an event, an important event where I knew they were going to get good teaching, good centered, an emotional connection. See, I thought that getting people an emotional connection to the business, to the people in the business, was the key to getting them to do the business. Dexter Yeager used to say, you build a friend and you'll build a successful distributor. So if I could get them to go to an event, go with me to an event, if they'd get in my car, stop at a Denny's at midnight and have a coconut cream pie and a cup of coffee with me, if we could tell the stories, listen to the tapes together, if we could just be on the road together, sit together in an event. You know, we set a lot of our top distributors up front in these big events. I found if I could sit beside the distributor, whether it was in the back row of a stadium or not, if I could sit, I sat with a guy named Johnny McConnell, who was a fireman and a barber in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I sat with Johnny in the back row at the stadium in Charlotte Coliseum in Charlotte, North Carolina, very early in the game. And Dexter Yeager was on stage, and Dexter said, you know, if you got a job, you're an idiot.
Wow.
And you know, if you got a job and you're satisfied with a job, you're an idiot. Having a job is stupid. Johnny McConnell is sitting next to me, and he says, I got 2 jobs. That must make me double stupid. You know, yeah. I kind of laughed. Instead of him taking offense, I could sit there and kind of get him to take that in a positive light, right? I could get that spin to be my spin. I could take him to Bob's Big Boy at 2 o'clock in the morning and get a strawberry pie and a cup of coffee. That's when the friendships are built. That's when the relationships, they're not built by sitting down and instructing people. I take you to the event. I sit with you in an event. I've said to you, and you know, you've repeated this, and that is the most wasted asset in network marketing is an empty backseat. Every time you get in your car, you stop by, you pick somebody up. Hey, would you go to the event with me tonight? Would you go to the meeting with me tonight? Would you go with me? I've got a place I want to take you to meet. See, people go. If I was living within 100 miles of you, every time you went somewhere, I'd be there, and I'd have somebody with me. I'd say, I want you to meet my friend Tommy Chenault, and I'd hang around all night long before. Whenever you was finally alone, I'd be saying, where are we gonna go get a piece of pie, Tom? I want you to meet my buddy Dave. Spend some time with Dave. Because I'd make sure that in the first 3 hours, he was friends with my buddy Tom. That's whenever Scott talks about building friendships and building relationships. See, I believe this. I believe that most people are not good at building friendships. They joined the NFL a long time ago. No friends left. They showed 3 people in business. That's it. That's all my prospects. That's all my friends. They didn't get in. My sponsor, one time, we showed the business to one of our best friends who laughed at us. And they went to our church. My sponsor went to the same church, and he said to her, he said to Yvonne, said to her, oh, you must be in the business. See, she said, we're friends with Bob and Joe Crisp. And my sponsor, Bobby, says, oh, well, you must be in the business then. And she said, no, they showed it to us, and we didn't get in. My sponsor said, well, that's strange. They said all their friends got in. They said all their friends got in. Why didn't your friends get in? Why do people show the business to 10 people and nobody gets in? Answer that question. Why not? Got the same company. I told them about longevity. I told them about the product. I told them about dead doctors don't lie. I told them about the CEO pack. I told them the whole thing, and they didn't get in. You know why they didn't get in? Because they don't like the person who showed them the business. And that's just a cold, hard fact. Teaching people how to friend other people. Let me show you something. Listen, the master friender in this thing right here is Tom Chenault. He's the master friender. I guarantee you.
That is completely and totally.
He could make the devil himself go out for a cup of coffee. I guarantee you. And all of you probably you're on this call because you agree with me. He's the master friender, and that's really the source. See, there's a lot of resources that go behind that and back it up, like Scott was saying, and Scott was dead on. But see, if you don't teach the first part, if you don't teach a person how to be nice, if you don't teach them the first question, how do you start the conversation? You start the conversation with a smile. You read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I hand you this book and you don't read that book, I'm not going to work with you. You read this book, I'll work with you. In the first chapter of the book, it's going to say the first thing you do is learn how to shake hands with somebody, smile at them, and repeat their name. Really?
Yeah.
I think that's the key. That is the key to starting the conversation. Yes, I like you. My face has got to say, I like you. I like being around you. I like being around Tom and Denise Chenault. I just love it. I'd go way out of my way just to hang. Just let me hang. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, I don't care. Dexter Yeager used to, listen, most of you know who Dexter Yeager is, I think. I'm not going to explain that. Biggest distributor ever. He used to call his key frontline people at 11 o'clock at night and say, you know who's going to be at my house in about 10 minutes? Kay Fletcher. Kay Fletcher's going to be in my house in about 10 minutes. Why don't you come on over? We'll put a pot of coffee on. And they'd go over there. Kay Fletcher didn't show up, but he had a tape of Kay Fletcher. He had put the tape on, set it in the tape recorder in the middle of the living room floor. He'd lay down beside the tape recorder and play Kay Fletcher for 10 of his leaders at midnight.
Wow.
That's building relationships. People, when you build, that's building relationships. Listen, would you ride with me to the event? Don't meet me at the event. Let me pick you up. Does that make a difference? Do you think it makes a difference if I pick you up and take you to the event and sit with you? Do you think it makes a difference? I think it makes a difference. Makes a difference to me. Tom and Denise and I were at Eric Worre's event, and Tom and Denise said, we'll save you a seat. I said, I'll be there. I'll be there. And sure enough, when I got in, I texted Tom. I said, I'm in the back of the room. He said, we're on the third row, and we have this seat. Why would that mean so much to me? I'll save you. Why don't you come with me? Come with me. They'll come and they'll stay. And they'll say, I don't know what there is about that person. But I like it. I think I'm going to. Maybe I'll take somebody with me.
Hey, Bob, I think maybe Engelbert Humperdinck would probably agree with you, because I think one of the lyrics in his song says, one of the greatest joys is to love and be loved in return, right?
Right.
Let's rephrase that. Love like crazy, then love more. Come on.
There you go. Thanks for saving me a seat.
That's the truth, you guys. I mean, Joe Farina, unmute your phone. So, yeah, and, Amy and I, we cold called all day long today. Last week, Joe flew, and Bob hit the nail on the head. Joe made Longmont an event. He spent his own money, and he flew down here for 2 days, and I almost killed the guy. He is a SWAT cop like Frankie, better looking than Frankie by a long shot. He's so good looking, he doesn't have to turn his lights down like Frankie is. Frankie's got his lights all turned down because he's so cool. Well, here's the deal about Joe. Looks like a movie star, young guy, built like a brick. But guess what? We wore him out because we went out there and we grabbed people by their hearts, not their heads. And we just loved them. And if they said no, they weren't coming to the meeting, I said, don't bother coming to the meeting. We're okay with that. But who do you know that we can call to invite to the meeting? And that flipped Joe out, because 3 out of 3 people I said that to them, said they'd give me names to come to the meeting, didn't they, Joe?
They sure did. That was one of the most impressive things I've seen. And it really was amazing. It really was. Nothing I could say other than that. And you did wear me out, Tom. I tell you, I came back to Maryland. I was all, ooh. But just really, it was impressive to me how you were able to just connect with people and really reach them on a level that they felt comfortable with you. And they had it was really cool just watching that happen. Your ability to connect, it was cool just to see. It was something that was really impressive. I highly recommend going out there and spending time with you, shadowing you, because it was like me going out to California, training with Frank Zane, one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time. I got to literally work out with him and watch how he approached the set. I got to watch how you approached people. And that's something that I'll take with me for the rest of my life, that has huge applications, obviously, in network marketing, but it has awesome applications in life, just being able to meet people, connect with them, build rapport like that. So I love you, Tommy.
Well, and I love you. And one thing cool about that was, you know, and that I'm most proud about is we talk to people that own the restaurants and own the companies, but we also, you know, you went to Two Dog Diner, you went to Red Frog Coffee. I didn't drag you to my AA meeting because it doesn't look like you have a drinking problem. If I take you to the AA meeting, it's, you know, I've taken a few of you. So anyway, the reason is because I love you. But the point is you get to see them from wherever, because you can't just selectively love. That's not what Jesus did, and that's not what you do. You got to love them all and drop them off right where they want to be in their lives. And so you're not trying to take people out of their circumstance unless they want to be out of their circumstance. But if they tell you that they want to improve their health, their time, their money, it's on you to take that seriously. Right, Joe?
Absolutely. And I just want to say this. Tom, you taught me something so vitally important. I watched that whole time out there. It didn't matter whether it was princes or paupers and everybody in between. You met them where they were at. We had conversations with everybody from every walk of life. Business owners, big wigs, comedians, guys on a corner, guys living in a van down by the river. It was awesome. But you know what? We loved everybody. And it was awesome meeting people where they were at, being a positive influence, leaving them better than before. And just, it was so cool, man. Really cool.
We got, thank you, Joe. We got mugged twice.
You didn't get mugged. Listen, hey, honey.
What?
I just want to point out one really important thing as well. And what Bob just did. You know, I mean, here's the thing is that in that moment, Bob touched everybody's hearts because he was courageous enough to become vulnerable with all of us. And you've got to be willing to leave it all on the table just like that.
Yep.
That's it. Because when you touch somebody's heart in the way that he just did, you don't know what's going to happen, but you've got to be willing to just leave it all on the table. And that takes a tremendous amount of courage.
It got uncomfortable for a second there, didn't it? I mean, he was so in the game and his heart was so on the table that some of us didn't know what to do with it. I was going to mute him.
Amy was starting, she was crying, so I'm
Amy, this is Denise's sister, Amy. And Amy, we did the same thing today with a few people on the phone, though. I mean, here's a woman coming out of corporate America. Just the best. She's Denise's sister, a story and a half in her own right. And we just had her fail an IQ test, hire her heart, and become a multi-level marketer. What's this like for you, young lady?
It is, well, first of all, I'm very blessed, but I think the main thing is, you know, I did kind of a little Facebook study, and, you know, a lot of people get tired of like, ooh, yeah, look at me. This is, you know, look at my new car. Look at how great I am. And so I put a post on Facebook last week that was just that vulnerability, and people loved it because people are you going to trust someone who is real, who's authentic? Yes. Or do you want to go into business with someone that you kind of like a head scratcher? Well, I don't know. Gosh, they want someone who's real. And it's been great.
Well, we love you, Amy. And Scott, you got anything to say to that? I mean, you're a beautiful man. Now that you finally got into your house and you're not out there. Scott?
Yes.
What are you doing, Scott?
Oh, I'm just staring at all these beautiful people.
Well,
Amy, you are absolutely adorable. I think it's amazing having watched you come into the company. I remember the first meeting you came to, learning that you were Denise's sister, and I just think the world of you. You're going to go so far, and it's things like you just said that make the difference. And I know that you've got an unbelievable resume, and it's very impressive. And for you to make that transition to team up with your sister and to put your arms around her and to be willing to follow her, even though she's your blood relative sister, sometimes that's the hardest thing to do. But I've watched you and I've enjoyed watching you. And it's really cool to see the journey that you're making right now. And I see your guard coming down. I see the veils coming down. I see your willingness to jump in and just recognize, okay, I'm new at this. My sister's a rock star here, but by George, I'm going to be one too. And to tune in to everything that's going on, all the resources, et cetera, that you have, I applaud you and I admire you for what you're doing. I just want you to know that you've got a whole cast of people in a choir here that is stepping up to your side right now, and you are going to kill this thing. You are going to go so far inside this company. There is no stopping you. And while I'm talking to you, Amy, that goes for everybody else on this call. Yeah. That story's for you too. And but your name happens to be on front of it because you just said something and you singled yourself out. But you just know that there's no stopping you, and you've got all the support you need, and it starts right now.
And there's nobody that won't help you, you know. And I look at Bob Crisp and I look at all the people on this call. And what we need to do is lock arms. And this call right now, we had a lot of people on here. This is shocking. But this is nothing compared. We can put 500 people on here. And 500 people are, it's cool. Yeah. So somebody say something. I'm looking at it. I'm so waiting to get rid of corporate America. I'm bringing my whole team to GoPro. Yeah, GoPro. We've got tickets for GoPro, by the way, that are half price. So if you guys want to go to GoPro, and there's my little Russian friend. Hi, Sveltana. So the whole thing, the GoPro, if you guys want to go to GoPro down in Vegas in December, obviously Richard Branson's going to be there. So is Tony, whatever his last name is. What's his last name? Tony something, Robbins. Any of those guys, they'll be there. It's going to be insane. So we'll be happy to do that. Get you hooked up with that. Bob, I'll buy you another ticket if you'll go. I want this thing to rock for you. We're sick of it. You know, I hate hearing that it rocks for Denise and I. I hate that. You know, we're at the top. We aren't at the top of anything. We built our business just like you did. And the 5 people in longevity above me, I guarantee you, they hear every day, you are sure lucky, as they don't make the money that Denise and I do because they didn't build the organization that Denise and I did. Cheryl Morley did, God bless her. But the point I try to make to you guys is the beginning is now. And before we get out of here, Bob, talk about Amway a little bit. I mean, you joined that company late in the game by everybody's standards, and you made it to the top of that. And if you were to join Amway tomorrow, you'd make the top. It is not too late in Amway or any other company because it's not too late for you. And as long as you've got air in your lungs, Bob Crisp, you know that you can get to the top of whatever you want to get to the top of, right?
I do know that, but I didn't know that starting out. What I knew is I knew that there was certain things that touch people, and the beginning of change is when you can touch people where they hurt, where they feel. And I'll go to that Eric Warrior event if you'll save me a seat.
I will save you a seat. That was a frozen moment in time. So next Tuesday night, we're doing this again. You know, it's 6:30, so our meeting's in half an hour. There's a great group of people from the Ukraine down at the training center right now waiting for us. And we are here to teach you and do this with you. Whether it's John Johnston and his beautiful bride, or if it's, you know, Tammy and Clay and those beautiful kids that were making faces at me, or my buddy Dr. AJ down in Australia, you guys all rock. I mean, it's that simple. And there is not, yeah, and Mary Thomas, thank you. There is nothing but room at the top. And it's just a matter of, and you young people, Dylan and Devin, God bless you. And looking at, man, I'm just telling you, this is so cool. So
save everybody a seat.
Save everybody a seat. Carrie Motley, I love you. Leo, I love you. Chaizda, Michael, Casey, Don, all of you guys. Thank you. We'll see you all next week. Same time, same station. Get people with it. Oh, Hair on Fire call. Bring people to that too. Except
Hey, Tom?
Yeah, Scott.
Two things. First of all, before we go here, Bob Crisp, you were amazing. You are a legend. I love learning from you. And every time you get a chance to speak and open your mouth, there is just pure wisdom that comes out. So thanks for your time tonight. And secondly, if anybody on this line is interested, we are going to broadcast our meeting out of Windsor or Loveland, Colorado tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Pacific or Mountain Standard Time, 7 p.m. We're going to use this Zoom channel, and all you have to do is watch for an email from Mary Ann that will come out early with that link. So if you are registered on Masters of Enrollment and you receive information from them, look for that link. It will come out in advance. You can pass it out to whoever you want to, but we are going to broadcast that thing live. So bring your guests, anybody you want to. It's going to be amazing. So thank you.
What time? So they can start building for it.
7 p.m. tomorrow night. That's Wednesday, Mountain Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And I saw the slides today. He's got a millennial slide. He's got a Generation X slide. He's got a baby boomer slide, and he's got a dinosaur slide. So there is a slide for every one of us. So this is so exciting. So everybody, I love you. Denise loves you. Amy loves you. Bob loves you. Marianne loves you. Joe loves you. Everybody that spoke, God bless you. And you guys all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Scott's new slide presentation is smoking. I saw it. You'll love it. It's in the lane, but it's freshened up. It'll light your hair on fire. Even you, Taiwan Mineral Man Monroe. It's going to be unbelievable. Oh, that sounded like Trump. It will be how'd I do that? In fact, I came home. I had that Texas Rangers baseball hat on last night. I was so proud of myself coming home from the game, and I was as red as a beet. I had that red hat on with the T on it, and I walk in the door, and from Texas, I'm tired. My wife doesn't say, "Hi, honey, you're so handsome." She goes, "What the hell? You look like Trump." So that was terrible. So I love you guys with all of my heart. Not saying anything bad about Trump. Don't get all wiggy on me. Just love like crazy. Then love more. Hope Hansen, you got a great name. If I had the name Hope Hansen, I'd be rich. I love you guys. Frankie, Teresa, everybody, keep doing it. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Bye, Tom.
Yes,
Thank you. Great meeting. Awesome.
Bye, everybody.
Love you, Tom.
Thanks,
Love everybody.
Thanks, Bob.
See you guys later.
Great
God
meeting.
bless.